Welcome to Lesson 5 of Module 3 on the Relational Data Model. I'm going to start with a trivia question that you should be able to answer if you listen to the lesson carefully. What university's athletic department is the assignment database loosely derived? Lesson 5 provides guidance for the practice problems and graded problems in Assignment 1. Both objectives are related to your ability to write syntactically correct create table statements that satisfy the assignment requirements and execute the statements on Oracle or MySQL. Your learning objectives for this lesson are to carefully read the Assignment 1 requirements and study the documentation about the Intercollegiate Athletic Database, the database used for the practice problems and the graded assignment. This diagram depicts the work associated with events managed by an athletic department at a major university. The database and associated workflow were inspired by a student project in the 1990s while I was on the faculty of the University of Washington in Seattle. The Intercollegiate Athletic Database supports the scheduling and operation of events. Customers initiate event requests with the Intercollegiate Athletic Department. Events are sometimes scheduled several months in advance. The facility and date held are recorded on an event request. If an event request is denied, no additional action is taken. If an event request is approved, one or more event plans are made. Typically, event plans are made for the setup, operation, and cleanup of an event. An employee is assigned to manage an event plan before the plan is executed. Initially, there may not be an assigned employee. An event plan consists of one or more event plan lines. In an event plan line, the resource, location, time, and number of resources are recorded. The Oracle relational diagram depicts the tables and relationships in the Intercollegiate Athletic Database. The database contains 8 tables and 7 relationships. The event request table is the hub of the database. An event request represents an event scheduled at a facility. For example, a basketball game may be scheduled at the gymnasium. Holding an event involves plans for the allocation of resources, including personnel and equipment. The event plan table contains plans for the setup, operation, and cleanup of an event. Each event plan is managed by an employee, but the employee is optional initially to an event plan because an event plan is typically created before the employee is assigned. The event plan line table contains the individual resources required in an event plan. Resources are assigned to specific locations of a facility. For example, guards may be required at the gates of the football stadium. The major requirement in Assignment 1 is to write create table statements with both acceptable syntax and conformance to required elements. The requirements indicate the data types and constraints for each table. The practice problems involve several tables in the database to help you get started. You also need to install Oracle or MySQL and execute the given SQL insert statements to populate the tables after the tables are created. If you have access to an Oracle server, you need to install the SQL Developer software and obtain an account on the Oracle server, but not need to install the Oracle server on your own computer. The assignment requirements include constraints for primary keys, foreign keys, required columns, and check constraints. Names are necessary for at least primary key and foreign key constraints. Because MySQL does not support constraint names for required and check constraints, constraint names are not necessary for required and check constraints in the assignment. If you are working with Oracle, however, I suggest that you use names for all constraints. Note that the primary key constraint for the event plan line table must be external as the primary key involves 2 columns. Let's wrap up Lesson 5, the last lesson in Module 3. Lesson 5 has provided details about the Intercollegiate Athletic Database and the requirements in Assignment 1. You need to study the document about the background of the Intercollegiate Athletic Database in the Assignment 1 document carefully. Module 3 has provided practical knowledge and skills about the relational data model and creating tables in a relational DBMS. The practice problems in Assignment 1 allow you to apply your knowledge and skills, the best test of your grasp of this material. You will gain confidence and satisfaction by using either Oracle or MySQL to complete the practice problems in Assignment 1. The Intercollegiate Athletic Database is used on Assignment 2 and practice problems in Modules 4 and 5, so your effort to understand the database on Assignment 1 will be very useful in the next parts of the course. Now, to address the trivia question posed in the beginning of the lesson, the student project on which the database is derived was done by a former student as part of a database course that I taught at the University of Washington during the 1990s. The assignment database is undoubtedly a simplification of the database required to manage events at a major university, but the database is about as large and complex as can be understood in an introductory database course.